What are the expectations for the Minnesota Vikings this upcoming season? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the new Minnesota Vikings Syndicate, a show for the fans by a fan. I'm your host, Trey Wicks, and I'll be giving you endless amounts of content. So what are the expectations for the Minnesota Vikings this upcoming season? Now, in my opinion, I believe the Minnesota Vikings' expectations should be to make the playoffs. Last season, the Minnesota Vikings finished with a record of 8-9, missing the playoffs for not the first, but the second consecutive year. Due to having missed the playoffs for 2 years in a row, the Will family, the ownership of the Minnesota Vikings, decided it was time for change and fired head coach Mike Zimmer and also fired general manager Rick Spielman. Now, I'm glad we got Spielman out of the GM position because let me tell you something. He's been very hit or miss with not only our draft picks, but the free agent selections as well. But now, I think our general manager position and our head coaching position are in good hands. At general manager, we now have Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and a head coach, we have Kevin O'Connell, who just got done winning a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams, and he was the mastermind behind their entire offense. Just think about that for a second. An offense that was unreal to watch last season. And let's hope he brings that to the Minnesota Vikings. I believe he can, and I believe he will, especially for the simple fact that there's a familiar face in the locker room. That's right. The Minnesota Vikings quarterback, Kirk Cousins, who once played in Washington, had actually Kevin O'Connell as his quarterback's coach. Now, in that 2017 season, Kirk Cousins actually posted 4,093 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Since leaving Washington, Kirk Cousins has actually dialed it down a little bit and gotten a lot better in making smarter decisions when it comes to throwing the ball. Now he just has to stay safe in that pocket, take less hits, take less unnecessary hits, and we're golden. And with Kevin O'Connell, you can only imagine what he's going to be doing with this offense this season with the likes of Justin Jefferson, who's been an absolute stud on the football field the past 2 years. And then we have Adam Thielen, who's completely healthy, looking revamped, and in his words, I'm feeling better than ever. And then at our third string wide receiver position, we have what some people might say will have a breakout season, KJ Osborne. And you look at our backfield, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison both switched their numbers. That is very irrelevant, but hey, they're studs as well. The defense, well, we'll find out when the season starts. But I think this is a good change of not only a head coach, but a general manager. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah made some interesting moves on draft night, but I think they might be the right ones, except for the 12th overall pick, giving him to the Detroit Lions. What are you going to do? I mean, you're not going to do anything, right? But I think this season we can expect a lot of upside. When you bring over an offensive-minded head coach, which I was looking for the entire time we were in a head coaching search, basically, I think you can expect some fireworks. Many yards to be thrown, many yards to be run, touchdowns to be scored. And we might be on the right track. So I took the liberty of going to DraftKings Nation, in which I found an article by Eric Butchinger. Hopefully I didn't butcher his last name, but he had this to say about the upcoming season for the Minnesota Vikings. He said the Vikings have the unique advantage of having 9 home games and 7 true road games, with 1 in London against the New Orleans Saints. Pumped about that one. Minnesota has the 13th easiest schedule based on 2021 records, and the 10th easiest schedule when looking at 2022 projected total wins. So after reading that, you have to think, okay, our schedule put us in the right position So hopefully win more ball games than we did last year, which was only 8. And I think that's definitely going to be the case because the expectation has to be to make the playoffs. So what does DraftKings have us going this season? Well, in the same article that Eric had to write, this is what the Minnesota Vikings record is projected by DraftKings Nation. So they have us obviously beating the Green Bay Packers because I think we all know that the Green Bay Packers kind of start off sluggish to begin the season. Last year they lost to the New Orleans Saints in dramatic fashion. They were out of that game right away. And then we kind of go on. We win against the Eagles, beat the Detroit Lions. Ultimately, we lose to the New Orleans Saints, which is actually what I have projected as well. We'll get to that in just a second. Week 5, we lose to the Bears. Miami Dolphins we beat. The Cardinals we beat. The Commanders we beat. The Buffalo Bills, we lose. I have that one too. The Dallas Cowboys we're going to lose to. The New England Patriots we're going to lose to. The Jets we're going to beat. Okay, Jets are not that great. The Detroit Lions we're going to beat. Indianapolis Colts we're going to lose. Giants we're going to win. Green Bay Packers we're going to lose. And last, the Chicago Bears we're going to win, and we're going to finish the season at 10-7. That is what DraftKings projects the Minnesota Vikings to do this season. However, I think it's pretty accurate because I have sort of the similar projected regular season record, which should hopefully put us into the playoffs. And that is what the expectation has to be, not only for the Minnesota Vikings, but our fan base as well, because we've had enough of it. We want to get to that mountaintop and get to that Lombardi, in which it is so hard to do so. We've been there 4 times, came away empty-handed every single time. We've been to multiple NFC Championship games, just in the end, we could not get it done. So here is my projections for this upcoming season for the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to beat Green Bay. I already noted it earlier. I think that Green Bay comes out a little sluggish. In week 2, we'll beat Philadelphia. In week 3, we'll beat Detroit. In week 4, I do have us losing to the New Orleans Saints. I think going over to London, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment that I don't think we're going to be capable of doing. I think it'll be a close game, but I just don't think we'll have the right plays, the right style to beat the Saints. In week 5, we're going to beat Chicago. Okay, sorry about it. Week 6, we're going to lose to Miami. Then we have a bye. We're going to lose to Arizona right after the bye. But then we're going to get right back on track and beat the Washington Commanders. Then lose to the Buffalo Bills. We are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys, in which I call the entertainment team, not America's team, the entertainment team. Then we're going to beat New England. I think that's going to be a hard-fought game, but I think we can get it done. We're obviously going to beat the Jets in Week 13. We're going to lose to the Detroit Lions, sadly, in Week 14 because we always seem to split at least one game with them. So shout out to the Detroit Lions Syndicate. I think they're going to get that one in Week 14. And then we're going to bounce back and beat the Indianapolis Colts, in which is going to be a crucial win for us. We lose that ball game, it could set us apart. It could set us out of the playoffs and maybe even more. Then we're going to go to the New York Giants, which is actually at home, and we're going to beat them, okay, in Week 16. In Week 17, we're going to lose to Green Bay. It's the same situation with Detroit. We always split at least one game with them. So we're going to lose this one. And then for our final week, in Week 18, we are going to come away victorious and make the playoffs, beating the Chicago Bears and finishing with a record of 11-6. Now, that might be far-fetched, but folks, let me tell you something. There's one thing I know about the Minnesota Vikings. When they bounce back tremendously. And I cannot wait for this upcoming season. It is going to be a fun one. The expectations for the Minnesota Vikings is to make the playoffs.